Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Want to get right to it today. The NFL, and I'm going to make a bigger video on the Justin Fields trade, but kind of got overshadowed yesterday. The 2025 elite prospect Shador Sanders. Pro Football Weekly posted an interesting piece. First and foremost, before I delve into Colorado football, I get all my news and all my updates from the Dave Talk Buffs on YouTube and Twitter X. Check him out. Great guy, and definitely a huge fan and my go-to source for anything Colorado Buffalo football. With that being said, yesterday Pro Football Weekly was posted an interesting quote from Deion, who kind of went out of his way. I'm not one of those people that generally like to talk about, dissecting people's comments and all that, because, things can get lost in translation a lot of times. And I'm one of those people myself who don't always think everything I say through. And I'm one of those kind of people that speak from the heart. So it can be easily, I know what it's like to easily, get misinterpreted. But it felt yesterday a little past going out of your way and expressing some underlying frustrations that can't be denied. Coach Prime yesterday had a quote, and Pro Football made a post about it on Twitter X, saying that he hopes Shador goes to a warm climate. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't most NFL stadiums right now got retractable roofs? So that myth about teams playing in the cold is pretty much yesterday's news. Now, don't get me wrong. There's still teams, i.e. Buffalo Bills, who had to postpone a game and then eventually make the game exclusive on a particular cable network just to try to make up for the lost revenue. Hence my theory why the Bills had to release 4 starters this offseason due to how much money they lost not being able to charge fans for their home game in Buffalo with the weather conditions the way they were. So I understand what Coach Prime is saying, but is he making assertions that being in Colorado may affect Shador's passing numbers, or maybe just in general last year on the road? I don't know. It was very almost going out of his way to use it as an opportunity to be upset. And then it made me take it to the next level when I was engaging someone in the post about the topic, because I still participate in public conversation threads for this very reason. All of a sudden you come to realization when you talk with other people, even though that wasn't originally the premise of the post. The premise of the post, people were saying he was soft, he didn't like to tackle back in the day. And I just realized, I'm like, wait a minute. Is this a dig at Colorado? Because, listen, Nick Saban just retired because he's fed up with the transfer portal. We all know that at the end of the day, Prime has to be about his money, because if it was about legacy, making it work in Jackson State and putting an HBCU on the map would have been the ultimate, flash signal of putting himself in the all-time great discussion of head coaches. And we all know he's a leader, and he's a compassionate human being. He's one of the rare humans in society at that level, from what I see. And so, but him going to Colorado made it be known that monetization, capital is important to him. Well, work harder, less smarter, the old adage, can definitely be applicable, and he's not going to be stopped coaching if he goes to the professional level young men, because these pros need guidance as well. A lot of them don't have the best temperament or acumen off the field, and now where you're seeing a lot of these ex-players now getting coaching jobs, case in point, Gerard Mayo with the Patriots, you're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel where I stay with a franchise, I pay my dues, and after football I can get a coaching job in a high capacity, whether it be collegiate or pros, an incentive. Guy like Prime can now do the very thing that he loves doing on a professional level without having to deal with the transfer stuff. And Shador is his prize son. We've seen LeBron right now, who I think failed at the attempt of trying to get Bronny into the league. I think Bronny will get into the league, but this was the one time I think in terms of business, LeBron lost, because he recently made comments about they don't have to play together. And I think that was very damaging in terms of his campaign to get Bronny in the league, because his offseason availability, coincidentally being able to opt out the day after the draft, really hurt his cost. Because look, he's going to cross all the statistical stuff. He already did the minutes, the points all time. He's going to get into top 3 assists all time. So he's going to get all the statistical stuff. But the Griffey moment would have been extremely special. His send-off also, conversely, you know, they're both connected. His farewell tour, even though he said he doesn't want one, and Bronny and Griffey, the Bronny Griffey moment could go to whatever team is willing to sign him and draft his son. He seems to be hell-bent on being in LA, and I don't know why, because he's never going to get embraced. I'm telling you, as an LA aficionado, I'm not a media official guy in the media, but I am everything LA, and I'm telling you right now, he's not going to ever get respected in a top 5 discussion in terms of Laker greats. That's not going to happen. You don't lose the way they lose is just, you never had these problems with Shaq, Kobe, Kareem, Wilt. He's not going to get confused in that discussion. This is a business. He did not grow up here. He's not going to get embraced that way. So I don't know why he wants to end his career in LA. Whatever Hollywood stuff he's got going on, he doesn't need to be in LA to prove to launch it or to further support back whatever he's got going on. So I don't really understand that. But Bron is hell-bent on staying in LA, and he's even willing to disassociate himself from the notion of having that Bronny father-son moment if need be. Now, how does that bridge Prime, LeBron, beyond just father-son duo? The difference here is and it's funny because this is LeBron's childhood team, Dallas Cowboys. McCarthy's in a contract year. Dak is in a contract year. Vander Esch, Michael Gallup has been told to walk. Pollard has been told to walk. Dak's brother, Prescott, has been making discouraging comments. He's always had, for that matter. But just recently, in the latest installment of that, making comments about, oh, looks like the Eagles won this offseason. Well, that's a rival, and that's a violation. If I'm paying you damn near close to $500 million, and you can't even control your family from running their mouth, that's a problem. If I'm Jerry Jones, there's no way I'm going to make another $500 million commitment to Dak after what I got for the money. Nothing really changed. Now, granted, when Dak has a running back, he's got the line, he's got everything. Great. They just let go Tyron Smith, Vander Esch, Michael Gallup, Tony Pollard. These are instrumental cornerstone pieces. And don't get me wrong, the Cowboys have been known for drafting anywhere. They got Romo in the late round. They pick up people. Darren Woodson was picked late. Jerry will find them. But it's very telling that in a contract year, this is what he's doing. I'm not spending any money. And in fact, and it's funny because this week, Skip Bayless went viral for his tweet, all in, comma, my ass. And everyone was laughing hard because they're like, what are you talking about? And the fact of the matter is, Jerry never said what he meant by all in. All into a rebuild, maybe? Because guess what? The Texans are here, ladies and gentlemen, and they're coming for that first place in the Lone Star State, similar to what the Clippers are doing right now in Los Angeles to get the throne from Los Angeles Lakers. We're cool off being little bro. We're going to go get our own stadium next to LAX in the casino in SoFi, where the Olympics is being held in the Super Bowl. And guess what? We wear red, white, and blue. So that's a little just bit more universal than that purple and gold you got on. And we're more involved in the community. We're not just telling you, hey, we're the Lakers, come to us. That's what the Texans are on right now. You got C.J. Stroud, who had probably the greatest rookie season since, in any sport for that matter, since Magic Johnson, who won Finals MVP and a championship. Yeah. Boom. Texans are here. Demarco Ryan, former Texan, add to the list of former players who are now in the league coaching for franchises they played for, not just Gerard Mayo, who I referenced earlier. Yeah. You got to do something if you're Jerry. You need to do something bigger, grander. You got a lot of money spent on Cowboy Stadium. You got to sell the myth. You got to sell the fantasy that we're going to compete. Every year when you're spending that kind of money on a stadium, people will tell you that's a museum. That's not a stadium anymore. That's not sport. That's a museum that they got over there in Jerry's world. And Dak is a guy who needs all the things like Jared Goff, like Tua. They need everything perfect in order to get the best out of them. They're not going to take a team on their back like a Lamar Jackson, like a Pat Mahomes. That's not him. He's not that. You give him what he needs, you give him the ingredients, he can make you a gourmet meal. Making anything from scratch, not going to happen. You need a prime to combat what's going on right now in Dallas. And you got a quarterback on an expiring deal who wants another $500,000. McCarthy hasn't been relevant since Green Bay's Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. Who Aaron Rodgers, for all you want to laugh and joke about and mock him all you want, that guy knows football. And he said his best days are behind him. I'm off it. I'm not on this anymore. Get him up out of here. And that's what the Green Bay Packers accordingly went and did. Dallas has got to do something grand. A Shador Sanders, prime-time, former NFL player, been an exemplary man off the field. It's a really good look when you got to sell all that $1 billion worth of multi-billion-dollar entity enterprise. You're losing that stench of being called America's team pastime. You're the butt of the jokes now, like the 0-16 Lions used to get when they were on the Tonight Show. More segments are clowning, and it's been so long they've been irrelevant that at this point they haven't been a real threat, that it's almost like, what is this America's team? By the way, the Texans wear red, white, and blue also, like the Clippers. That star is not going to cut it anymore. You got to really put a talent out. You got to really put a product out there if you're Jerry. You got to work. Texans are like, no more little brother. I'll try to do better next time. Global. Out.